Hi everyone, welcome back. It's Nat Walsh for Cherish Cards. Today we are going to go to Crazy Town because I'm going to make 5 cards. It's a little bit longer video. I've tried to cut out as much as I could without totally you missing what I'm doing. I am excited to say that I am part of the digital design team for Sassy and Crafty. I'm so excited. These stamps are from them. These are their create her. So all these images, the hair, the face, the body, the clothes, there's a necklace, the sunglasses are all individual stamps, and you put them together and that's it. You get your little image that you see here. So I went to town. Originally I was going to put 5 girls on the whole thing, but they're too big. So we're going to make 3 cards with the 6 ladies, and I don't know whether I colour all of them, but the six ladies, and we're going to have 3 on one card and a couple of individual ones. Okay. As I said, these are all digital images. I've coloured each of these ladies. Well, 3 of these ladies are going to have a different skin tones to each other. One of them is my normal range. This one is the E53, 51 and 50 with R20. These 2 are going to have a little bit different sort of colour range. I didn't particularly show you, but these are E57, 55 and 53. I've pretty much coloured all the images very similar in the sense of around the sides of their face is going to be dark, underneath their hairline, just underneath their chin, and where their clothes meet sort of thing. I'm going to round off their arms, so there is a dark area on either side of the arm. I will come back through later on. I don't think you'll see it, but later on I'll come back through because I've realised I totally left her eyeballs like behind her glasses. So don't rest assured that will be coloured up later on. The 3rd image that I do is going to be my usual E04, E11, EOO and EOOO for my skin tone. Here I'm just trying to figure out what lips do I do for someone that has the darker skin than my normal, but I'll come back to that. So all my skin colour is all done. All my bees are basically going to be the same shading. They're all going to be coloured very similar to this one. So I'm only really going to try and show you one. I have B99, 97, 95 and 93. Now even though the 99 and 97 are only 2 numbers apart, they just weren't working terribly well, and I used the tip to tip technique with just trying to bridge that gap a little bit more. So for this small little image I am going to use 4 colours, but all my blues are going to be the same, and I'm going to have some reds. Well, honestly they're pretty much like a pinky. They're pink, and then we're going to have some violet colour, but they're pretty much going to be the colour the same. This is going to cut out very, very shortly. Okay, we have R89 will come in a little bit later on when I decided that my colour wasn't quite dark enough. We've got R85, 83 and 81, so the 89 will be coming through very, very shortly. Same thing, darkest working my way out to the lightest, and then playing with the colours after that to see whether I wanted more shadow, whether I wanted a bit more darker. There's my other, all my ladies done. My V's, V28, 25, 22 and 20. The various bows and sunglasses, and some of the sunglasses are going to be this color, some of them not, are going to be in a range of these colors. So the blue one won't have a blue, it's going to have this violet color. So I'm not adding any other colours. I realised I left her ears out. I didn't colour her ears. So rather than going back with my other colour, which would have been easy enough, she suddenly got earrings. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. It looks good. So I've got some glasses and I've got her little bow that's going to be this violet colour. So we're just working our way through. What can I tell you? Today it is freezing cold. We've just been hit by an Arctic wave basically, and we're freezing our little tushies off. It's a bit of a nasty shock after coming out of summer, and we hit with this freezing cold. It's been rainy, it's been hail, it's been horrendous. Take pity on me because we've just come out of summer here in Australia, so it's just gone nasty really, really quickly. Hopefully it will settle down a bit. Back to the card. The hair is going to be a mixture of 3 colours. This one here that we have, I think was we've got E29, E25, 21 and E50. Another lady is going to be E47, 27, 25 and 23. And then we're going to have our black. So we've got 100, we've got C9, C7 and C5. Where the scalp is, where the part is going to be the darkest, and then we're just sort of working it until we're happy with the blend. So making sure it's not fully blended, so she has some highlights and lowlights. So if you don't know, highlights are where the lighter color is and lowlights are the darker. Okay, there's my hairdressing background coming out. With this little lady, where the center, where her bunny thing, I think it's like a bun, that is going to have the darkest, and then just a little bit of lowlights here, there and everywhere. And basically we're just, as I said, we're going to work through that, and when I'm happy with the colouring, because I usually go over this a couple of times, then I'll call it done. You sort of need like a flicking motion. You sort of need really light hand. If you flick too hard, then it just gets too dark. So this is 47, 27 and 25, and I will come in with a 23. We're just going to colour all these little bits and places. What else can I tell you? It's Sunday afternoon here in Australia. As I said, it's freezing cold, so, not a nice get out and do things day. But here in Melbourne, we don't actually get terribly cold. Like, it gets cold, of course, but it's not like snow cold. We don't get snow everywhere here in Melbourne. We're too close to the sea for us here. Other parts of Victoria do get the snow, but not us, which is good. I'm a summer baby. I like my warmth. I like getting out in short sleeves and shorts and just relishing the sun. Not sunbaking, it's bad for you, but you know what I mean. Like, I like to be warm. I don't like to be cold, because in a household of 4 boys, then I'm usually the one that is freezing cold. And even right now, I have a few bodies that are in only their underwear, and I don't know what temperature it is outside, but it's cold. So I saw a mat, I think it was online or something. I saw a mat one day and it said, excuse us, we're probably just getting some clothes on. And I'm like, that's not me, but that is my house. It has been known, especially in the middle of summer, for 3 of my 4 boys to be roaming around in their underwear. And I have definitely had at least 2 boys today in their underwear. One will sort of wear a dressing gown because he's a funny soul. But it's not done up. It's not done up. It's not keeping him warm at all. But he's the really hot bod. This is a dark haired woman. As you'll see, colouring in pretty much the same sort of way, just giving her little flicks here and there of the darkest colour. So there's not really much I can tell you. Sassy and Crafty website, I will link that down below so you can go over and check them out. They have lots of little bits and pieces. These stamps are real stamps. We've just gotten the image, the digital image side of it, which comes in really handy when you live thousands of kilometres away, thousands of kilometres away in another country. So it works out really, really well. So I'm super excited to be part of their team, and I'm going to show you a couple more in the next couple of weeks of my cards that I've done for them. There's one that was mostly all on the computer sort of thing, so I don't have a video for them, but we've got a Silverline card, and we've got another one that I will show you in the next couple of weeks. So look out for those. And there's plenty of people that have done lots of cards. So we've got our women here. I think there was one that I didn't worry about too much. We've got these frames using paper rose and nesting stitch rectangle frames, and we're going to make them into literally a wood frame. This is the easiest thing. If you haven't tried this, you've got to try this. You've got to use a light hand. I am using for my wood E47, 37, 33 and 31, and I'm basically going through, apart from the corners, to give it that, is it mitered? I think it's mitered, that mitered look that it comes in, so it makes that frame look. And we're basically just adding squiggles, and we're just going to keep working it until we're happy with it. Now you got to remember, you do this really, really close. So you got to think that the person that you give this card to is not going to be looking at it so closely. I've put a little bit of shadow on the inside rectangle, purely because a lot of frames, pretty much all the frames that I can think of in my house, have a sloped inward. So to give it that rounded look, we've just made it darker on the inside. We've got our mitered corners, and we're just squiggling little bits and pieces here, there, doing a little bit of shadow, moving in and out, and just going back and forth between all the colours. Pretty much once I did the first lot of the darkest colour, apart from here, and redoing the corners and bringing them out a little bit more, I haven't done too much squiggles with him. So we're just sort of adding more of the depth, and that's about it. Now we're working back down through the other lighter colours, and we're just going to keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until we're happy. So it's starting to really look like you've got that depth in that frame. So give it a crack. It's fun. It's something a little bit different, and I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, so this is what we decided to do. Shock horror. You're not going to see the second frame because it's just too much. I've also put a little bit of foam tape on the back of these. We're just picking out our colours. I didn't want two of the same sort of ladies on each. Like the card that has the three ladies, I didn't want two of the same ladies. So we try to make sure that they're all like swapped around. Originally I was going to put these colours on the background, but I decided not to. You can see them there, and I won't use them. We've got this Spellbinders fabric, what's it called? Fabric weave, I think it is. It's sort of the one of the first sort of 3D-ish type of embossing folders that I got. We're going to use this Arabella. When I decided that I didn't like the inking, I'm going to pull out this Arabella's Garden from Paper Rose, and we're going to play around with the patterns until we find some that work. So there's relatively plainish there, but it's only in the background. It's just to add a little bit of definition. Run those through my Cuttlebug, my Big Shot I should say, and that's how our little girl is going to look. Peeling off the bottom of our foam, just so I can place her down. And we'll trim her off. It was good to have a little bit of a handle there for a while. I don't place it down perfectly, but you know, it does the job, so no problem whatsoever. Glue her down. Literally I'm just gluing her face. This is where I've also trimmed up. You can see it's not placed perfectly, but you can't see it, so it doesn't matter. Trim out the bits that might overlap. I'm going to glue that down. She looks so cute. Next, I've got a Crafty multi-liner, and I'm sort of roughly figuring out where my center is, but I do actually trim this off and just freehanding some lines to do my, you know, not a lot of people do have this wall hanging type of thing anymore, but so it can be a bit more of an obvious picture frame. I decided that it was going to go with that. I've put a little bit of Victorian velvet, but I've only done it ever so slightly, and I do actually trim that down a little bit. That I do it off screen, you won't see it, but I do actually trim that down a little bit. Glue that all down. And there's card number 1. Just having a look at my sentiments. These are all the sentiments for the different stamp sets. I've just printed these out. We're going to use one from the Brave, Strong and Free. I think that's called Brave, Strong and Wild. And I've printed that out on some cardstock, and we've just trimmed that out. So I'm mixing and matching my wording. Okay. Put a little bit of glue on either side, and then it was going to have the foam in the middle. We're just going to put a little bit of multi-matte medium on my foam just so I have the opportunity to move it around. I'll put it aside to dry. The next one is going to be exactly the same. So I probably could have cut this out, but let's just show you. The video isn't too bad. It is 23 odd minutes long, but you know, fast forward, I won't care. I won't mind. I won't be hurt. I'm trying to do a bit better job of my image, so we've half pulled out the foam backing so we can put it down a little bit better, but you know, oh well, we do this. So this card's basically exactly the same. You know, free balls, some little freehand, I should say. Freehand, some little loops, little ties for my picture frame. We're going to go old school here. Glue that down, and we're going to glue that onto our card base. And that is 2 cards. With the little glasses. Just got to clean up my glossy accents. They're a little bit goopy. We're just putting a little bit of the glossy accents over glass so it gives it that shiny look. Hopefully you can't hear my children too much. They're being a bit loud today. Using a pin, I'm just going to pop any bubbles. Just sort of figure out whether I wanted to go the white frame or not. Trim all that off because now it's dry. Having a look at my sentiments to figure out what sentiment that we can have. We're going to go with this love your look, so it's a lot smaller. So this one is a lot thinner, a lot shorter, so we're going to just have him overhanging. So he's just going to overhang, so we're going to have some little mini foam dots on the end of it and a little bit of glue so he is even with the frame. So 99% of it's exactly the same. You're just going to add a little bit of glossy accents and a different sentiment, but you know. There is card number 2. The third card is relatively simple. and straightforward sort of thing. We're going to use this. We're going to use Paper Rose Sarah Story, and it's a cool little wood grain sort of paper. I don't know whether it actually has another name. It's just called, the range is called Sarah Story. No, it just has a number, but it's obviously a grey wood grain sort of image. We're going to use this W+9 stamp set with the Amazing, and we've trimmed that down a little bit. So I've got foam on all my little women. What I'm going to do here is just peel it off slightly and glue them down so they're sort of attached by their shoulders. But then they will stick together and we'll be able to move them without too much stress. So, okay, I can move. I'll trim off all my ends very shortly. See how they're really, really big. They're really quite big for the card base, so that's why I've only got 3. And I thought the Amazing would be a nice little grounding for them to be behind. Put my Amazing down. Just try and make sure they're nice and even on my grid mat. And they are slightly different levels sort of thing, but only very, very slightly. You can't see them too much. Just try and put a bit of glue so I can move him around a little bit. Take off my backing. And almost pretty much that is it. We're going to add some little sequins on there. As I said, the Sassy and Crafty website will be linked down below. There is also my corresponding blog post that will have it will have photos, it will have a little bit of stuff, but considering this is just digital images, but I will link you over to where you can buy these images. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this card. It is a little bit longer, but I hope it was worth it, that you get a couple of cards out of this. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you hit the little bell, you'll get notified of whenever I upload new videos. I usually do 2 a week. I'm trying to build up a little bit of a little bank of videos. That's it. Take care. See you next time. Bye.